Bungie released a new mini-vidoc that has some crazy story details. How did the Nine plan this? What is the effect of Orin's escape from them? And is their next emissary right in front of our face? As we head towards new stories and destinations next week, some of these answers will be revealed, but today we discuss these mysteries, hints and secrets we've gotten along the way. So I was in the process of already making a video about the Nine and their emissaries. Then Bungie went along and released a new vidoc that goes perfectly with this. Some new cinematic shots and story details about the emissary herself. How her choice impacts the overall story heading into the next saga. Now I'm going to play part of the vidoc that deals with story in a bit. But let's first discuss why the Nine have emissaries in the first place. If you want to see the new stuff, you can skip ahead a bit. A faction of the Nine has created emissaries to interact with humanity. Our first introduction was to Xur back in Destiny 1. He told us his will is not his own and that the Nine sent him. He said a bunch of other mysterious things that we didn't understand, and this went on for a while. The coolest thing he did was give out Gjallarhorn. Back then, he would just show up on the weekends with some cool gear for Guardians. But over time, as we ventured into Destiny 2, Bungie began to unpack the story of the Nine. For Xur specifically, we don't know much. But what we do know is that he was likely created from an Ahamkara wish. The Nine did have Ahamkara wish dragons in their possession at one point, but decided to kill them off because they feared Oryx would intervene. So Xur was believed to be the Nine's first experiment at these go-betweens. Physical creations that could interact with humanity, relay messages from their group. Next we have Orin. She was once human, turned into the Awoken during the collapse, and then eventually into a Guardian. Her story has a lot going on, which you can find in some of the previous videos I've made. But she once served Marasov, and was sent to find answers about the death of Seer Ido, the Queen's Wrath. This led her down a rabbit hole involving the Nine, where strange things would happen to her. She would encounter Xur, hitting him with her Titan hammer and causing his bent spine. And through her pain and loss of her closest friends and lovers like Namchi, Orin was eventually transformed into the new emissary of the Nine. She sought new power, new meaning, and they gave it to her. Here is the Anamorphosis entry 1 from a previous video just thrown in here. This talks about how Orin was transformed. You wake in a dust storm. Your mind scatters, one neuron for every mote, spread across the distance of galaxies. You were someone else before you were you. You no longer remember her name. Now your head rings with 9 voices in one throat. Our minds proclaimed.
Emissary.
We invoke your awareness. We demand your obedience.
Know now our minds. See now our will. Unbound by time.
Take it easy now. We only have one. Your diaphragm expands. Nitrogen, oxygen, xenon, alveoli spasm. Fireworks of pain in your chest. Breathe. Breathe. You will survive this. Emerging from star stuff, washing up on cosmic shores.
Round and round we whirl our Ouroboros of life and death.
Flowing in cosmic rivers, caged by grubby fingers.
Limitless potential, chained by Archean squabbling.
The reef, the asteroid, the city. A man whose name slips through your fingers. Pointless pointillism. Hush now, little one. Gather the vestment of my breath, drink the wine of my blood. Cut out your tongue, and hereon speak only our truth. Blood of my blood, traitors to the last. How curious that such fragility may experience our fullness. You have no choice. When the world expands beyond your knowledge, what can you do but expand with it? Mountain, valley, swivel, modular forms all start with basic folds. Don't come too close or you'll burn your little wings. Fashion the blade of my bone now, bury the killers of my children, my beloved, my kindred, me. You don't want to kill anyone, you want to protect them. You want to build bridges, isn't that why you're here? One appointed emissary, Nine's will delivered. Should you desire more, you must dare to.
Do not resist. We will not be dethroned.
Irreconcilable strength, foolish struggle. Xenon fills your lungs, your mouth cracks in a smile. Your vocal cords vibrate, your words, not theirs. We'll see about that. Bungie's new Vidoc fits here perfectly. We get new cinematics that show us the emissary's fate. The Nine seem to have a new target.
Orin has lived so many lives in Destiny. She was a Golden Age human, and then awoken, and then a Guardian, and most recently became Emissary of the Nine. But it turns out it's an awful job. It radically alters your body. You surrender your control to beings much larger and more powerful than yourself. Orin traded liberty for power, and she's realizing it wasn't worth it. And so she makes a big choice. She chooses to quit. Leaving the emissary position with a vacancy the Nine need to fill means that she's got one more role to play. Mentor to her replacement. Orin is reclaiming her agency. And when she makes that choice to quit, it raises a dozen new questions. What can happen if the emissary isn't around to stop something? What does quitting a 4-dimensional job do to a 3-dimensional brain? And most importantly, who is her replacement? How hard are the Nine going to have to search to find one? This release is about serendipity, that magical sense of finding desirable connections by chance, except here, chance isn't involved at all. Something more powerful than we are is. Great stories aren't built on the plot happening to characters. It's built on characters making choices that change the world. And Orin's choice to quit is what ignites the entire saga.
My will is my own.
So this brings up our next questions. Was Orin their last attempt? It seems like it wasn't. Xur was the first prototype, Orin was the next. And through those discoveries and possible improvements, the Nine have their next version, which seems to be hinted at Lodi, of course. Now the Nine have factions, and as we've learned as of recently, they are divided. The good faction, so to speak, the 5 of the 9, are the ones who created these emissaries. While they overall have decent interactions with humanity, you can likely bet that the 9 overall seek transcendence, and if they could split away from the life in our system, they would do it in an instant, so don't think of it as too friendly. Just from the new Anamorphosis lorebook, we see how terrible Orin was treated, why she decided to break free from that power and make her own fate. So this brings us to the question, what about Lodi? The 9 are heavily involved here on Kepler with the anomaly, dark matter, and time distortion. The calling cards sent to members like Ikora, our guardian, and even Lodi himself, leading us to the same place at the same time. They orchestrated all of this for a very long time, but why Lodi specifically? That's my question. It could be because of his connection to the DEO and the study of alien language and time anomalies, which the Nine are interested in. And if that's the case, do they need information from him? Or are they trying to control him like they did with Orin? Lodi very well could be the next part of their plan. Here are some of the cinematic shots from the Vidoc slowed down. We see what I'm assuming is Lodi disappearing from the room with the telephone, and even a humanoid figure rising up from what looks to be an ocean up towards Kepler. Not sure if this depicts the Emissary or if it is Lodi sort of transforming. But my mind instantly goes to some extremes, like what if Lodi was a member of the Nine? Or what if he becomes corrupted by one of them at some point during the campaign? Orin trying to be our guide to break him free, as she has as of late. So characters are being pulled here for a reason. We know Ikora, Lodi, but what about the Guardian? Why is our Guardian mixed up in all of this? And what choices will we have to make to change our own fate? We've been through the trials of the Nine, the reckoning, right of the Nine, and who knows what else has influenced your character.
I have forced a respite from the Nine. I repeat, this is not their emissary. I've learned much from them. They believe many things that you need to hear, but for all their power, they are no less fallible than a tower consensus meeting. They think light and dark are set to war again. How and why, you would know better than them at this point. You're on the front line. Trust what you see, at your peril. Trust what you're told, at your peril, including anything you hear from this voice. The Nine cannot agree amongst themselves on a course of action, but that doesn't stop them from acting. They're curious about us, learning as much about us as we are from them with every interaction. Be brave, Guardian. You're walking the path. I know you can finish it.
The phone we see in this room, we have the full text now on the door. It says anomaly containment, like the black binder we talked about in yesterday's video. It appears Lodi goes, answers this phone call, and from what we've seen in this Vidoc, maybe disappears, transports through time. So who do you think was on the other end of this phone? I've seen comments from you guys suggesting that the person on the other line is Lodi himself, which could make complete sense. Maybe the same character from a different time period, maybe from the collapse, or maybe even from Kepler. Lodi's voice actor even tweeted this. Could just be a meme for fun, but I thought it was interesting. But anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. Some talk about the Emissary of the Nine breaking free and Lodi possibly being controlled and put into this new position. If you'd like to see some more Destiny news, lore, and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.